What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Good morning. Good morning. So let's talk about uh Miss Bernice King responding to Sexy Red and people telling Miss Bernice King how to feel about images of her father, which would portray him in a negative light. So I addressed the whole Sexy Red and Miss Bernice King thing yesterday in a video that I made, right? So for those who don't know, I'm gonna catch y'all up to speed. Sexy Red posted up an image of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Miss Bernice King's father, right? And her, Sexy Red and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., holding hands, staring at each other's eyes at a club somewhere, right? And they were looking at each other with a twinkle in their eye like it was romance or something crazy. And honestly, the picture looked like they were about 2 seconds away from leaning in on each other and kissing each other. It looked like, now they weren't leaning in on the picture, let me say, but it looked like that's what the picture was insinuating, that they was like finna do something romantic. It just looked crazy, right? And so after that, Miss Bernice King responded and talked about her displeasure with seeing an image like that. And to Sexy Red's credit, she said, you know what, because she took it down. She deleted the picture because Miss Bernice King asked her to do so. And she expressed how she felt like it was distasteful to his family, etc. and all of that. And Sexy Red said, you know what, you're right. I didn't mean to disrespect your family. She took it down. And I applauded Sexy Red for that, right? And after that, you had people saying that Miss Bernice King was overreacting. She doing too much, all of this. Let me say this, man. When you can't tell this woman how to feel about her father. You can't tell this woman how to feel about her father and images of him, negative images of him for real. Because she sees this on a regular basis. This is not the first time she has protested people using her father's image in a negative light. She does this consistently because she sees it out there. People putting gold fronts in Dr. Martin Luther King mouth, him standing between strippers with money in his hand, him standing between images of girls twerking, him, with do-rags on his head and earrings in his ear in the club, with a whole bunch of strippers. She's seen all of this and she don't like it. And she shouldn't. And the reason why some people were saying, that Sexy Red image, that wasn't even that wasn't a lot. That was something mild. No, it's not in the grand scheme of things. Why? Because when Miss Bernice King knows these false rumors have been put on her father's name, false rumors about him being a philanderer, a person who was cheating left and right on her mama, a person who was just having all these adulterous affairs. When she knows those rumors were put out there by the FBI, CIA, when she know that, right, and she sees an image of her father grasping the hands of Sexy Red on the dance floor, like they about to get it cracking on the dance floor, looking in each other's eyes, she like, no, hold up, we're not doing that. My father was a married man, one, and she's aware of the music that Sexy Red makes and how raunchy and how what's the word I'm looking for? How raunchy and how vulgar her music is. And it's like, yo, you're putting this image around my father that is not appealing at all, and it's also not true. And so she's pushing back against that, rightfully so. You had people saying things like, oh, he was just a man. Why y'all treating him like a god? Listen, man. Yes, he was a man, but he was a man that died fighting for black people. He lost his life fighting for black folks. And y'all have to understand that, okay? He's been disrespected so much over the past few decades, with people not really, people doing half research and coming up with these pseudo-intellectual think pieces, calling Dr. Martin Luther King docile, weak, and calling him a sellout. When I've explained in my previous video, because I made a video talking about the disrespect that he gets and how he gets a disrespectful bad rap for no reason, because people paint this image that he wanted black folks to leave black communities and leave black hospitals and leave black vocations and all these black businesses and go join up with white businesses. And that's not what he was advocating for. I explained previously that he was advocating for access, for black folks to have access to things. If you need to go to dentist school, right? And You know, there's a school that you can learn from that only accepts whites. You, black man or black woman, go to that dentist school, school of dentistry, learn what you got to learn, and bring it back to the black community. That is what he was fighting for. Black people to that is what he was fighting for. Black people to have access to things. Sorry for stuttering, y'all. Also, if you as a black man, you on a road tripping with your wife and your children, and y'all happen to stop in a town somewhere, y'all got to make a stop because your daughter or your son or your wife got to use the restroom. I want access for my children and my wife to be able to use the restroom in this restaurant or this stop right here. You know what I mean? I don't want to have them sitting off on the side of the road, using the bathroom out in the open. And I want my wife and my kids to be able to use the restroom where we are. You know what I mean? If we hungry, we starving, we ain't got enough. The next restaurant that's a black restaurant is miles out. I want black people to be able to eat in certain places without being terrorized, without being chased out with a shotgun. You know what I mean? Without being told you can't eat here. That he was fighting for access for black folks to have access to things. If you're, if you're a black person and you're living in a neighborhood, and the school, the nearest school is like 3-4 blocks up the street, walking distance for your children. But it's a white school, and the black school is miles and miles out. And you're a black man that works a job early in the morning. You only got one vehicle. You got to leave early in the morning and go to work. Hey man, my kid's not gonna be able to get to school walking to that black school. Can my kids go to school 3-4 blocks up the street so they can get educated? He was arguing for access. So anyway, I went through all of that. I'm sorry, y'all. But she knows when her father gets a bad rap for all these different negative things and all of that. And it has led to the disrespect of Dr. Martin Luther King in other ways. And she's pushing back against that. So anyway, after Miss Bernice King was explaining how disrespectful the image of Dr. Martin Luther King and Sexy Red was, you had people in the quotes of Miss Bernice King's tweets disrespecting her. Let me read y'all some of the tweets. One tweet said, "You must don't know that N-word," he's referring to Dr. Martin Luther King, is that N-word had more hoes than a little bit. Is this what we doing, y'all? Is this what we doing? Let's go to another tweet. A young lady says, "Baby, they be saying your daddy only wanted segregation to end because he was effing white B-words. F you and your daddy, B-word." Come, like what? Come on, fam. This is just disgusting. It's stupid. This is stupid, disgusting stuff, right? Then another young lady says, out of all the things they've done with, another young lady says, out of all the things they've done with Dr. King's pictures, this one gets the outrage. So let me say this, like I said before earlier in the video, Miss Bernice King has always protested the negative images of her father. This time the world is noticing because she's addressing someone that's a famous entertainer, so now everybody is taking notice, but she always protests these images all the time, right? So let's get to one, Azalea Banks. She says, your married father was having a drunken orgy with white prostitutes paid for with church money when he was assassinated. First of all, let me say this. Azalea Banks is a vile, evil-spirited woman. She needs therapy, counseling, and she should be baptized in a pool of holy water for 5 minutes, back and forth. Keep dunking her, like on the Nutty Professor, the Clumps, when he was dumping them in that pool of intelligence to get his intelligence back. Keep dumping her in a pool of holy water for 5 minutes, back and forth, because she is vile. All right. So let's get to these rumors of Dr. Martin Luther King being a philanderer and being cheating with all these different women. These were rumors that were started by the FBI and the CIA, one of the two, or both of them, right? And when you know about these agencies, especially during that time period, during the Civil Rights era, Jim Crow America, these agencies actively conspired against black leaders in any black movements of upliftment. These agencies conspired against any black leaders in black movements that were for the upliftment of black folks. So y'all really gonna hang on the word of the FBI and the CIA in this? Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? But this is how far we come. And this is, you know, people actively disrespecting people who laid down their life for black folks. For black folks to get things that we needed, for black folks to be treated fairly, for black folks to try to level the playing field for black folks in some way, you know? And you know, I've spoken about the disrespect that Dr. Martin Luther King gets unfairly. Because again, people make it seem like that, because people, white American in general, only like to quote Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, where he talks about, you know, not judging people by the content of their character and not by, you know, their race, not by the color of their skin. And white America, white media in general, loves to cling to that image or that speech from him, but they don't quote the other speeches where he talked about black people needing reparations and black folks should get reparations. They don't talk about it when he says that, you know, white America tells black people to pull themselves up by the bootstraps when black America has never had a boot to begin with. They don't quote that, and I wonder why. Okay, but yeah, y'all can't tell this woman how to feel about her father and her father being disrespected. Y'all are out of your mind. Y'all are out of your mind. Okay, I'm just going to say that y'all are crazy. And yeah, I'm done with this, man. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out, y'all. Peace.